This is the Chapter 3 Review Packet Solution. In this video, I will be covering the first page, just questions 1 through 9. So we have here, to review the core concept before we start working, um, that this is a linear pair. A linear pair is defined as two adjacent angles where their non-common sides are opposite rays. Their angles in a linear pair are supplementary angles. In other words, you could say two angles that add up to make a line is equal to 180 degrees. The equation for this would be angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 180. The next one, if it looks like this, you would say two angles are vertical angles when their opposite forms two pairs of opposite rays. In simple English, angles that are reflected of each other are the same. In this case, you would say 3 and 6, they're reflected from each other, therefore they are congruent, are the same. 4 and 5 are reflected from each other, they are the same, so they're congruent as well. So now we actually work on number 1 and number 2 and number 3, trying to find the missing angle. Looking at this, and this looks from our previous core concept like a linear pair. So we would set up the linear pair equation. Okay. Notice I would have to set up the equation first before doing anything here. Angle 1 plus angle 2 is equals to 180 because this is a linear pair. Angle 2 is 57, and we know that right here, so we make that substitution as the second step. Once we simplify, now we try to get the angle alone by doing some algebra. Subtract 57 to both sides, you get angle 1, and the bottom on the right hand side becomes 123 because 180 subtract 57 is 123. If you plug it back in, you will have to see that this here is 123 degrees plus this is 57. This should make 180 degrees. Next one, if we look at this looks like it is, okay, reflected of each other, so we would say that this is vertical angles. So angle 1 is equal to angle 2. We know what angle 1 is, which is 38, so we make that substitution and we can just simplify it. So we would say angle 2 is just 38. This is 38, so this is going to be 38. Next, you would have to set up this equation again, but please understand that this box here represents 90 degrees, and when you set up the equation, it has to be the entire thing. So it should be angle 5, angle 6, and 90 degrees. Okay, so it's angle 5 plus angle 6 plus 90 equals to 180. We call this a linear sum. It's no longer a linear pair. A linear pair is only two things that add up to make a 180. This are multiple things, so it's called linear sum. This is 22 is the angle 5. We don't know what angle 6 is. 90 degrees and 180. We bring everything down and just make that substitution. Combining some like terms, 22 plus 90 is 112. Now we have to try to get angle 6 alone, so we're going to subtract 112 to both sides. Angle 6 equals to 68. Next one. Okay, you're trying to find the angle measurements here. Again, this looks from before like it is vertical angles because these two are reflected of each other. So we're going to set that up. Angle 1 is equal to angle 2, but what is angle 1? Angle 1 is 4x minus 26. That's angle 1. What is angle 2? 3x plus 4. That's how I make that substitution. What I'm doing here is I'm just plugging in the angles that I have. Okay, now it becomes a simple two-step problem. Subtract the variable on both sides. Okay, you get x minus 26 equals to 4 because 4x minus 3x becomes 1x plus 26 to both sides, x equals to 30. Okay, they're just asking for the value of x, just for the value of x. Next one. Okay, what are these? They're right beside each other and they make a line. We call this a linear pair. Angle 1 plus angle 2 equals to 180. Make the substitution because I kind of made a little mistake here. This should be angle 2. Okay, so angle 1 is 4x plus 11 right there. Angle 2 is 3x plus 1. Okay, 4x plus 3x becomes 7x. 11 plus 1 becomes 12. There you go. Subtract 12 to both sides, bring everything down. 7x equals to 168. Divide it by 7 to both sides, you get x equals to 24. Good? Any questions, let me know. Next, 5. Okay, same thing as before. Please understand that this is 90 degrees. So it would be a linear sum of angle 3, angle 4, and 90 degrees. We know that angle 3 here is 2x minus 5. We know that angle 4 here is 4x minus 13. Combining some like terms here, let's see. All the x's right here, all the x's are right here, x, okay, and this is the constants, okay, so, okay, see it's 6x, 6x is coming from the 6x comes from the 2x plus 4x, and this comes from the constant of negative 5, negative 13 plus 90. Okay? Subtract 72 to both sides, bring down everything, gets you 6x 180. 180 subtract 72 is 108. Divide by 6 to both sides, you get x equals to 18. 6. Okay, here we know to find linear pairs. Okay, so you would have to find the first one here. So that becomes 75 because 105 plus 75 is equal to 180. You could also set up the equation if you would like. Okay, and this just becomes 105 because these are vertical angles. That's also 75 because you could do the linear pair here or say vertical angles right there. So you would say x equals to 75 and y equals to 105. Same process here. You know that these are linear pairs. So we know that this is 102 because 78 plus 102 is equal to 180. This is 78 because you could either do linear pairs here or say that these two are vertical angles. And this is 102 as well. So x equals to 78 and y equals to 102. Next, 8. Again, you would there's multiple ways to approach number 8, but the easiest way is to look at the linear pair first. Okay, so the linear pair here be this. Okay, so angle 1 plus angle 2 goes to 180. Make those substitutions. Angle 1 is 6x plus 19. Angle 2 is x. Make just simplify it because you distribute that one. 6x plus x is 7x. Bring down the 19. Subtract 19 on both sides. Bring down the x. 7x. Divide by 7, you get x equals to 23. You're not done because you have to solve for the missing angle. So you know the angle here is 23. I need to find y. Okay, I've noticed that there is also another linear pair right here because this makes this line. Okay, so x is 23 plus y equals to 180. Okay, that's a linear pair. Subtract 23 to both sides, you get angle y equals to 157. Okay, that is 157 degrees right there. 9, same process, but this time I have to set up the vertical angle. If I set up the linear pair here, it wouldn't work. So I have to set up the vertical angle because there's only one variable here. If you set up linear pair, you would get two variables. You can't solve that. Okay, 4x plus 16 equals to 6x. That is the vertical angles. Subtract 4x to both sides because you're trying to move the smallest variable. Bring down the 16. 6x minus 4x becomes 2x. Divide everything by 2. You get x equals to 8. 16 divided by 2 is just 8. 6x is your angle. Plug in the x, which is 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So you would say that this is 48 degrees. Okay. We know that 48 degrees plus 7y equals to 180 because it's linear pair, because they make a line right here. Subtract 48 to both sides, bring it down, you get 11y equals to 132. Divide 11 to both sides, you get y equals to 12. Okay, but to get the angle, it's 11 times y. So make that substitution, which is 12 for y. 11 times 12 is 132. So we'd say this is 132. This makes sense because 48 degrees plus 132 degrees becomes 180 degrees. Okay, there you go. Those are all your solutions for page 1.